Here I am reposting a video that is already on this channel and was initially posted May 10th, 2019. You can see what I said about Joe Biden's transits long before he won the Democratic nomination. So what are Biden's chances for winning the Democratic nomination, and especially for becoming president? His transits are actually quite good, because you see Jupiter currently in the sign of his ascendant, which is always a very powerful, very helpful alignment. And then you also see Uranus conjoining his moon, which is another boost of energy. And then we have the Neptune in Pisces is in trine to his Scorpio planets. And Neptune is a really important planet from the perspective of popularity. In fact, Trump was elected on Neptune trine in 2016. Neptune was trining his Mercury. And at the moment, Neptune is hovering around 16, 17, 18 Pisces, so it's in the middle of these planets, and it moves toward a trine to Mercury as we go toward the election. And Mercury is a really important planet because it is the ruler of his 10th house, his zenith and his midheaven. Now, what is interesting about Biden's chart is that in addition to helpful transits, you see an effect that is quite common when people are elected, when presidents are elected, because typically they need good supporting energies while they're running for office. But then once they're in office, it usually gets more difficult. And here we see Trump with Jupiter in his ascendant. And now as he goes toward the election, what's going to happen is there'll be a point when Jupiter, Saturn, and Pluto are in this region here, basically opposing his Jupiter, but at the same time sextiling the Scorpio planets. It's almost impossible to achieve anything without something challenging. And so the opposition of these planets to Jupiter is what it is for Joe. And it is an important aspect in that Jupiter is the ruler of his ascendant, ruler of Sagittarius. But it's a very strong Jupiter. Jupiter was 8 days, 7.9 days past its previous station, whereupon it went retrograde. So this planet is moving very slowly at his birth and is therefore very powerful. It's also in Cancer, which is the sign of its exaltation. And notice that it's trine, Mercury trine the Sun, trine Venus. Very, very strong Jupiter. So it can withstand an attack by these planets. And in fact, the planets in those positions may act as more of a stimulant, because from there they support his Scorpio planets. So I see his transits as a very, very good setup for the run-up to the election. However, if he did get elected president, by then you see Saturn and Jupiter, they actually will conjoin in early Aquarius, very early Aquarius, and then Saturn makes its tour of Aquarius during what would be the first 2.5, 3 years of his presidency. That makes perfect sense, because once you're president, then the pressure begins, and Saturn then would be squaring the sign where his Scorpio planets are, which makes perfect sense. Now, if we turn to his progressions, we see supporting energy or supporting factors that are very interesting as well. So please watch that video for that part of the analysis.